You're listening to the Mopcast Network.
Welcome to My Star Wars Life, a look at news, reviews, and other happenings from a galaxy far, far away. Here are your hosts, Scotty and JD.
Welcome to My Star Wars Life.
I don't know what to do without JD.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, JD.
I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by the man who puts mans in Mandos.
I put the
You put the men's in Mandos.
in Mandos. That makes me
I mean, it's better than putting the men in menstruation.
That's true.
I mean, we could be a lot worse.
We could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse.
We could go down more holes.
So you're the man.
That is a terrible one, too.
And so,
There's no JD here to correct it.
Go Hoss. What's up?
Go Hoss. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like we've done a podcast, and now I'm doing another one.
Yeah, well, that's how we roll.
That's how we roll. So
Stacking them up.
Stacking them up.
There's a lot of good news, though.
A lot of good news. Not as much rumors as it was last week, so we're not going to do a rumors list. But
No, it's good. We need to step away from the rumors for a moment.
But
although I have a couple.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So a couple things I know we're going to talk about. I think let's save the actual factual one for last, and so we'll save that for after your
Fandom
free zone. Yeah, that's what it's called. And so we'll save it for after. So we'll talk about the Clone Wars then.
Okay, great.
Let's talk about this. So in the rumor mill, and by the rumor mill, like it's been Variety's reported on this now.
Yeah.
And that Disney has let go of the crew that was working on Obi-Wan.
Yep.
And sent them home. And there's hearing rumors of script problems.
Yeah. So I have not read the Variety article. I did see it finally get picked up by Real Trades and not just Collider, which
Right.
is,
take it as you like.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of Reddit as far as I'm concerned. And what we're trusting Reddit now. It is. It's pretty fascinating. It goes back to a certain extent, Miss Kennedy being involved in the situation, because yet again, the way I read it, scripts came across the table as they're getting ready to go in production. Scripts come across her desk. Like, I don't know how they run their business. I don't know. But then she changes her mind, like after they've already initiated crew and started the process. It doesn't make a lot of, I have a feeling there's something else to it, and that's the story we're given. But why are you waiting so long before you start making changes? Like, why are we in production and you're making massive overhauls?
Yeah, because if that
means they saw something.
If that's the case, you have already been through pre-production. Things are being built, sets are being designed, costumes are being made.
It means they saw something they didn't like.
So, if that's the case, now on the flip,
I blame Ewan.
On the flip side, Ewan was at a premiere for Birds of Prey yesterday,
right,
or last week as we recorded it. Yesterday as we recorded it, and he's doing damage control. They've asked him about it, and he's like, "No, scripts are good. We're just moving it from." We were shooting in the summer, now we're shooting first next year.
Right.
So maybe they need a little bit more time, but he says, I saw 90% of the scripts and I loved them. Right. And so I don't know. This is just the internet.
Yeah, but the actor loves him. Of course the actor loves him. He gets paid to say words.
Right.
And deliver that.
But if you read what he said or listen to the interviews of that, he's not like he's on script. He's not like Disney's like, we really need you to do damage control of this. Right. I don't think that's the case.
We need you to John Boyega the shit out of this.
I think he's like, look, I don't know exactly what is going on, but however, it's not what you think it is. And so,
well, it's part of what triggers my fandom free zone scenario is that I have a really big issue with the fact there's two things that come out of this for me. The first piece of fandom free zone is it is bizarre the amount of Star Wars rumors that we get that are all negative at this point in our lives. You remember pre-prequels, right? Everything that we got was a magical. I didn't hear a lot of complaints.
No, that's for Twitter.
That's pre-Troy, right? So that's one part of it. It's always spun. The other part is it goes back to the same thing we've talked about over and over again. I'm a fan of Star Wars, but I'm removing myself for a moment to be a businessman. Why in the hell have you initiated the production of anything if you have not 100% locked the scripts? So unless scheduling has changed, if it is accurate that the reason this is shifted is from that, it's yet another reason why, as a filmmaker, as a businessman, Kathleen Kennedy is making mistakes, or she is taking the hits for somebody else's mistakes. I don't know who it is. I'm not going to let Deborah Chow go down because she's my jam, and I love Deborah Chow more than anything. She's my favorite director from all the Bando stuff.
Right.
I just don't know. I don't understand why we've gone down this path. If you've brought crew in and let them go, they've been assembled. As you said, they've spent money on this.
Right.
And this has been why have we seen this trend, with the exception of Mandalorian, which may have happened, we just didn't hear about it, but we have had a consistent trend with every single Star Wars property that it's not just reshoots, guys, those happen on every project. It's a matter of massive rewrites that are changing the very core. I think someone is trying to destroy it from the inside out. That's my rant.
To what end? It's $1 billion property. Why do we want to kill it?
I don't know. Why would Darth Maul want to kill it?
Darth Maul's not real.
He's real enough. He's real to me.
We're talking real.
No, but I don't know.
My first question really about this is
I don't understand why. That's my bigger thing. Is I don't understand why you would go through that.
So here's my big question about this whole thing. Why is it news? It's not news.
No, it's technically not. No.
It's not news. It's
new. It's news for websites like Collider and Star Wars fan sites.
Right. It gives us something to talk about.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Again, at the end of the day, it's like they didn't cancel it.
Right.
And so, because that rumor happened like earlier in the week that it's been canceled. And then like, no, it's not been canceled. Disney's like, no, it's good. And then this comes out. So I don't know where this all comes from. Where it's
right,
but. I don't think it looks good when you just deflected the canceled bid. Now you're like, well, now we're going to push production. But first of all, they said production is going to begin in end of the year, not so it's like.
Well, they pushed the timetable, which is a big deal. That's the bigger concern I have for it, is that was a landmark show for them to use. So they're pushing the timetable. Now, look, we got to think beyond this. Disney Plus is no longer Mandalorian. We all got blessed. It was the premium show they had, right? And we'll never have that again. Now we're going to be up against Marvel shows and everything else. So now Mando's numbers, every Star Wars property's number from this point forward is going to be held against another. They're competing properties now.
Right.
And I'm not saying trash Marvel. That's not where I'm not starting a new,
No.
But if you have to look at the numbers now. They're competing against themselves now. And so it's a new issue. And you have Picard coming out. Like you have other bigger bigger science fiction pieces going into the trickle game. Not just mass dropping.
So, piggybacking on that idea, is it a case of there are just not enough people to make this show? To make it right. Because I'm looking at my numbers.
Yeah.
So I've got, if I'm just looking at numbers and how much money this stuff is making,
right,
I can automatically get in and start focusing on Mandalorian too. Because I got to, because that's got to happen. If I ever open his mouth and said it's coming in the fall, I got to make that happen.
Right.
That doesn't.
But Mando's shot in the States, and this was gonna be Pinewood.
Well, hell,
I don't think it was Pinewood, Atlanta. I think it was Pinewood, London, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, hell, now it can be anywhere because now we can shoot like.
Well, I don't know. That's pretty expensive.
Right. That's the
only thing is it's still expensive.
Right, but still, like now you can do this. So
I know.
So. I mean that saves time. So it may be expensive, but in the long run, if you can shoot on a stage, make it look like you're outside, and beat the weather.
Here's the thing, though. For some
California,
reason,
that's why everything was shot in California. It had amazing weather. I mean,
well, originally Hollywood was going to be in this part of the country,
right? But you can't
in the South. But it was too rainy,
right? You
couldn't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. Gulfstream.
So one of the things that's fascinating to me is every time we've had a major advancement, when we moved from film to digital, for example,
right.
Basically heralded by George Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
When we made that jump, everyone thought it was going to change the industry and make things easier, but it cost exactly the same. Sure, transfer film processing fees got cheaper, right? Or they went away because you didn't have them. But then the cost of tapes got elevated to a point that was the same price.
Right.
And I think that's maybe what we could be running to in this same situation, is that we're seeing this elevation of cost of goods jacking up, and then the screens for these LED things like they did for Mando, which we should talk about in a second, that's gotten more expensive. I have a feeling that's going to be super expensive because you have all those backgrounds aren't real.
Right.
Those are all Unreal Engine generated backgrounds. So you got to have a bunch of 3D designers now working on that stuff. So I think I don't know. I'm with you, but
because look, I know Hollywood's filled with wonderful and amazing technicians and gaffers and I mean everybody's there, right?
Right.
But there's only a finite resources, and let's just say manpower you got,
right?
But you ain't got post production. There's not enough. There cannot be enough post production to do all these fantastical shows and keep a movie business going to a quality that we are now expecting.
It could be. No, I'm saying it could be. That's the issue.
Yeah,
but
I thought you were like there could be enough people.
There could be enough. There could be enough depending on how much they outsource, like outside of their own contracts.
Right.
The other part is VFX houses is such a weirdly regulated. I mean, I've seen on Facebook a billion times a stupid article about, oh, look, the post house that did some movies gone out of business.
Right.
Well, it's because they're so dadgum expensive to maintain, and then movie companies rip them off. So we'll ask Old Horsty about it, but it's a real thing, right? So I don't know. It is bizarre to me that it would get bumped that far.
Of course, I might know. It'd be funny, interesting to just. I know. I'm just.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I'm just speculating because to me, it's a finite resource. So if I'm trying to figure out how I balance my resource, especially if I'm Disney, who I'm not. I mean, if I'm Disney, I know Lucasfilm has it has some autonomy.
Right.
So Lucasfilm is looking at what it can make, but I'm Disney. I'm also looking at what Marvel can. I've got a WandaVision show. I just canceled a Hawkeye show. We're shooting.
They canceled the Hawkeye show?
Yeah, they canceled the Hawkeye show.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Jerry Rimmer's issues.
Oh, I don't pay attention. I didn't want to talk about that.
Apparently choked out his wife or something.
What? Oh.
So
damn it, Renner.
So and then you
become
got
a rock star.
And
that's
then,
how you act.
And then you got Captain America. Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I guess that's what they're calling it. It's shooting now,
right?
So it's like
with the new Captain America,
with the new Captain, with Sam, and then it's like. You also got Black Widow, which is finishing up because it comes out. There's a lot going on.
No, I get it.
And
I'm with you.
I'm just like, maybe
their pipeline could totally be their pipeline's full, and that they estimated that they had the window to do this.
Right.
And what sounds better, right? Hey, we screwed up on production scheduling. Doesn't sound good. Or hey, we want to tweak the scripts a little bit more. To me, it sounds better you want to tweak the scripts. That makes it sound like you're trying to go for a quality product.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, we made a boo-boo. That makes a producer look like a real ding-dong if they can't handle their bantha voodoo.
I think both ways, as you put it, because when you came in pretty hard, Kathleen Kennedy goes across her desk last minute and decides to change scripts. I don't know. But that could be the case, too. I don't know. Because, I think she has again, I don't know her. And I don't mean to beat up on her because I don't,
she's a figurehead, though.
Right, so I don't have a dog in the fight. However, it's like there were problems on the films that I wanted to like that I don't like. The one I do like, you fired the original group of that. Rogue One, you make them reshoot stuff because you wanted a war film, but when you got it, you got scared of it.
Right.
And so it's, so what do you want? What do you want? What you want is not what Lucas envisioned. Is not.
Well, that's the bigger problem, right?
That's the problem. And so,
except for Mandalorian, because we don't know, right? It's the deviations have happened so broad that that's my frustration, and especially with her from a producing standpoint, is we've gotten so much deviation in the content now, where it's not that it all has to be the same. That's not what I'm asking for.
No.
I'm asking for consistency of the freaking world you've built. Right? It exists. And the data exists. It's not even fandom.
Right.
The world actually exists with realities that are very simple to pull from. That's what you do when you have a franchise.
Right. See, I don't get too because Ryan Johnson still thinks he's getting a trilogy. He says he's still in talks for that, and if he is, that's great, I guess. I keep hearing rumblings about Knights of the Old Republic that everybody wants for some. I don't get it. But like, I want to see them old and fight with lightsabers. Like, it's the same thing. They just move a little. Like, ships move a little slower. Really.
Right. Well, in Star Wars, ship time doesn't matter anyway.
I guess we just want to see more Sith. I'm like, oh okay. Everyone's Revan. I get whatever. Ooh,
right.
Whatever. Or what's the other one? Revan and
Bane.
Bane. Yeah. Anyway, my problem is that there will be more films. But they built a new universe. They built a whole new timeline. they will abandon it to go shoot something else.
Right.
Why not play in the sandbox you built? Because we don't know what we're going to do with it. And so it's like this corner of the sandbox that no one will talk about. 20 years there will be kids who watch it, just like the prequels. The prequels in 20 years later has a better light because all those kids who watched it and loved it and grew up in that, they have something nostalgic.
Absolutely.
Just like we do. Your kids and stuff may absolutely love the sequel trilogy, which is fine. They're allowed to.
It's a trilogy?
Yeah, there's one that's kind of cloaked you don't see, but yeah, it's trilogy.
It's a Romulan warbird.
And so I didn't want to rant this early, but I guess man, we're like 14 minutes into it. I'm all hyped up.
Yeah, but that's how it goes on the show. Without JD's just pleasant face.
I feel like
we just go straight down into Lord of the Flies.
What else you got?
I was going to show. Did you see this one that it came from We Got This Covered? But have you seen this? Yeah, I didn't read it though. Do you know about it?
No. Okay, so first of all, We Got This Covered officially. Okay, speaking as the founder of the Mopcast Network, we don't hold credit to We Got This Covered.
Got it. So I can't read this thing about Palpatine?
But you can totally read that. But like, We Got This cover, as far as I understand, goes, you know what would be cool? Print it.
Yeah, they just make it up.
It's just like, I read one today. It's on Facebook. It's real bad on Facebook, and I'm just like,
that's where they make their fake news.
Man, it is all fake. Yeah.
Maybe this is done by the Russians. Maybe it's the Russians this entire time.
God, I believe it.
They're trying to destroy us because we love Star Wars more than anything.
I believe it.
Yeah. Next, they're going to attack McDonald's.
So.
Chicken nuggets are actually not made of chicken.
Nuggets. They're made of Baby Yodas.
They're made of baby. Oh dear God.
So lay it on me.
So all I see is that as Rise explained, Palpatine has been behind the First Order this whole time, with Snoke merely a puppet. The Mandalorian is set around 5 years after the events of the original trilogy, so it would certainly fit into the timeline to have him resurrected at this stage, meaning he can slowly start rebuilding his forces in secret before making the First Order's might known. Of course, this storyline could ultimately be rejected or held off. So that's what they're saying, and they're, quote, hearing that.
No, they're not hearing it. There's 4 guys around. You know what? How they're hearing it? They're doing what we're doing.
From what we understand, Gideon will be unveiled as the one behind Palpatine's resurrection.
Oh.
Well, the only way it works, though. Yeah, see, if you let it sit for a second, so then that means Baby Yoda is part of that, and he uses Baby Yoda to do it. Which actually, he heals himself. Like there's something there that could oddly work.
My eyes cannot roll faster in the back of my head.
I know, but there's at least some logic. That's the problem.
No, it's not.
No, I could draw a line to it.
Oh, you can draw a line to anything. I've heard you speak.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's what I do. You're right. I'm a director. Yeah, so I don't think this is where I disagree with him. According to our intel, Gideon will come across Palpatine's body somehow and conduct experiments on it. What kind of experiment? What is he going to... He's like, well, necrophilia. Let's just see if I can bring him back to life with a little pants action.
I'm going to poke him with the stick.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing?
Hey, bring me that dark saber.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to poke him.
The specifics are still... But apparently this will bring Darth Sidious back to life, poking him with the stick, teeing up his role in the sequel trilogy. It could happen.
They tell me a clock is right twice a day.
Well, the thing about that goes back to what I'm saying about the rant, about the rumors and all that stuff. That's like blatant stuff. What I thought was interesting was that now the Mandalorian, what's more fascinating to me is the Mandalorian now has a lot of credibility in the world where people are excited about Star Wars, that property. Right. And see, that kind of rumor is back to the rumor and speculation we had prequels. That's the kind of rumor that we used to talk about. And it might seem stupid, but we would say all kinds of random shit.
No, we said shit around the playground all the time. Trust me. The Mandalorian works and Rebels works for the same damn reason.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand why people just don't get it. We like the original trilogy era. There's a ton of stories. I'm sorry, there are stories you can tell in that. And
100%. That's another Kathleen jab.
Right. But prequels are fine. But we got the prequel. What more can you tell in the prequels? Really?
Nothing.
What more can you tell?
No, there's nothing to tell.
Because Clone Wars covered it. That's why the Clone Wars cartoon exists.
Right.
It covers that. I'm happy that it exists. I'm not knocking it, but when you look at those what questions do you have? I don't have any. It's all solved.
I have none. And when we get to the Clone Wars discussion, although you just naturally segued into it, I can make arguments for why I'm excited because it's new Star Wars, but I'm not excited because it's not that I'm not excited. I don't care as much because it's not new Star Wars to me.
Right. I mean,
you're filling in gaps of years that I don't really necessarily.
Right. And so while yes, you could say that about the original trilogy, we have an opening and a beginning. Of Luke Skywalker, which fixed the Skywalker saga, which fight me, the last one doesn't.
Right.
The Star Wars saga is a lie. It's a marketing lie.
100%.
100%, because they didn't know what they were doing, and I'm never going to work for Disney with this rant, but they never knew what they were doing, and that's unfair.
Right.
So yeah, we get a week in dumb Star Wars saga now.
Yeah, so here's what it is. And I'm currently drinking this black cherry Waterloo sparkling water. But Disney would tell you it's a Truly.
Right.
It sucks both ways.
Right. So it's like, and again, I'm not, look, make our hero a woman, make her whatever race you want her. Hell, I would love a Native American.
Yeah.
I don't care. She's transgender, transaurus. I don't care. I don't care.
Did you say transaurus?
I did say transaurus.
Okay, I'll buy it.
I don't care.
Right.
What I care is make it her whatever a Skywalker, and just stick with it. And don't give me, what's your name? Oh, Skywalker.
It's,
all right,
well, yeah, I know, but now she's passed down. And I get it. We can argue that stuff.
I want to argue. That's what I'm saying. I want to argue it because they
no. There's no backing up. There's no fixing the mistake.
There's no fixing mistake.
And we know when the mistake happened. And I'm going to say it again. The mistake, to me, clearly happened, and I jokingly say it doesn't exist. It clearly happened when that film was formed. If you go back to like last week's rant, Discovery on episode 1 rumors, if any of episode 9 rumors, if any of that is true, we're talking about putting it way closer to Star Wars and be closer to the Skywalker. But I don't think they would have done that. I don't think we would have had this be the Skywalker story the whole time, because Luke would have mattered a lot more back then, and it would have been passing the torch. We got that removed from us when you put him on a fucking planet sucking from some weird teat. I mean, as soon as you do that, you've destroyed it. You've destroyed everything. You've destroyed 6-7 movies of content for 2 shots, him throwing a lightsaber away and drinking milk from the teat.
Right.
It's 100% Last Jedi's fault.
No, it's not. It's not. Last Jedi is a symptom of the disease.
Okay, fair enough.
No, the problem with this, and fight me on this, is that they decided to make 3 movies with 3 separate people, which turned out to be 2, because someone backed out when they looked at them. And I know they looked at the mess and was like, I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
There's no way you can make me. I mean, I would love to direct or write a Star Wars film, but the mess that you have to go through to do it, and it's not just the fans, because the problem is, yes, the fans are toxic.
Yeah.
Now they're toxic, but you made that.
Yeah.
You created that, and some of it you couldn't help because I'm not talking about the toxic masculinity within the Star Wars fan. I'm not talking about those guys.
But that's in the comic book world, in the gaming world. It's just it's Twitter.
Right.
Let's be honest.
You got fragile men, and you're just going to have the fragile man, and they're loud, but they're fragile. However, there's fans like me who I love Star Wars. I love it. It's great. You didn't. I almost got Bill Cosby there.
Yeah.
You did. You
also a fragile
will
man.
take this pill and, and go to sleep. Anyway, at the end of the day, you didn't plan a trilogy.
No, you did single movies.
You did 3 single films and said, we'll make them fit. Why? Square peg, round hole. And it doesn't work.
Right.
If you're going to tell the story. And I know for a fact that Lucas got lucky with round hole, square peg in the original trilogy, because they don't all connect right the way he wanted. But at least he had a plan, and they worked with it. He had better people to work on that plan for him. They just went willy-nilly on this.
Look, and we've talked about it before. Star Wars and Empire Star Wars is a fluke.
Right.
And then Empire working is because he did it again, self-financed. Right. So all the risk is on George Lucas at this point and his company.
And Lucas at this point knows he can't do it. He knows he can't do it.
Right.
So what he does, he goes to his teacher. He goes to Irving Kirchner, his Yoda. He goes, fix this for me.
And I don't care what people say. I think Richard Marquand did a fantastic job on Jedi.
Jed's great. People don't like Jedi because they don't like the same reason why they don't like Empire, not Empire, but Phantom Menace, because it's the Jar Jar's cutesy and weird. You got Ewoks. Ewoks are great. I'm sorry.
I have no problem with Ewoks. I'll fight anyone over the Ewoks.
Ewoks are great. Teddy Rohans.
And if you try and tell me that the Porgs are okay, I will kill you. Kill you. Ren Howitt style.
I am fired up today.
But I am 100% with you in that. And I've said that for a while. That it's been broken forever. It's just we can't do anything now. So I don't think it's
fixable.
It's not fixable. That's why they're abandoning it. The only place they have to go in their mind is what they know works. Stuff close to the core. Not the world's, but close to the core of the story.
Star Wars happens in that realm. But go ahead.
So it that's what works, right? So we have things. So Solo works. It's closer to the core than it is outside of it.
That's
right?
True.
Rogue One worked. Rebels worked. Resistance doesn't work. Far away from the core, right? It's removed. So it's and then we're gonna have Mando close to the core. So what we're getting is anything close to that core where the story is actually properly developed, the mythos is real, and the world has been defined works. Anytime they get away from it, it falls apart. So they're gonna do the same, potentially go down the same rabbit hole of destruction. Clone Wars is the hybrid between the two. I don't know if Clone Wars 100% works. It is a little bit drawn out. I mean, if you think about it, like we've already got the close of the story.
Right.
But if we go and we look outside of, so if they go way early prequel, don't bring Yoda into it. You're trying to bring the core to it.
Right.
You're trying to take something 400 years in the future, I mean, in the past, and then tie it to no, just leave it be. Just leave him out. We don't need him. It's the same problem they had with going to Rey and doing that stuff. That's away from the core. They lost the core essence of it. If you want to kill Han Solo, fine. I think it's important. Somebody needs to die. But it's when you decide to kill off everyone, Carrie, God willing, not her fault. But maybe it is. But when you decide to go and the rest of those characters get, axed, what are you going to do?
No disrespect to Carrie Fisher. And Carrie Fisher's, I love Princess Leia.
Yeah.
But at the core of the story, it's not her story.
It's not her story.
She gets to ride along and she gets to ride close, but it's not her story. So even in Colin Trevorrow's draft, which was fine. She's a central core of it. She's the central because suddenly they need her to be a Jedi to do this stuff, which makes no sense. I know the expanded universe loves to make her fine, make her a Jedi, whatever. But why did we move away from Luke?
I don't know, and I don't look. I firmly still don't believe, because there was no scripts written, that the idea was ever that Rey goes and finds Luke and hands him a lightsaber and he throws it over his back. Right? They may have set us down the wrong path. Right? With the first, but there was plenty of room to correct it.
Right.
And that's why I blame that movie so much.
There's plenty of room to correct it in that film. So he throws it over, but make it a teachable moment, not make me an old...
Exactly. Well, here's what I always thought. I watched The Force Awakens, like, my God, I get it. It's a rehash. I get it. It is what it is.
Warm people back into it. But if you're going to tell a story, tell a complete story.
Sure. And you got to come from a property that has a fan base.
Right.
But remember, prequel love was not very high.
No.
Right?
And that was coming from
about 3 years later. So you're trying to rebuild. So they're going to start over. And I get it from a marketing standpoint. Mm-hmm. However, I always thought that if you look at what happened to Anakin Skywalker falls in love with Padme when he's like 6, whatever that means. But
he's like 10.
He's just a very small 10.
She's like 11, 12, 13. So they're not that far apart.
I don't buy it.
But because Jake Lloyd was 10 and I don't know.
And she was like 18 or 20.
Yeah, I don't know. I think she's that old, but I think she's still in school. I think she was like doing tutoring classes and stuff.
Yeah, whatever. But point is, like I thought what was going to happen is Anakin. We know that Anakin falls in love with Padme, and the order, this religious order that he's part of, forbids him from having love in that capacity. Right? Mm-hmm. He's not allowed to because it makes him dangerous. He has these powers and whatever. I thought, honestly, what I thought happened is Luke being the character that could do this transcends that point, and Luke at that point, because the dark side is not as much as what it was, Luke was able to, not Mary Jade, it's not going there, but Luke was actually able to find someone and have love and did have a child, and that's who she was. And Luke was dealing with that challenge.
Right.
Which would have been fine. Now she is quite literally a Skywalker. Problem solved.
Right.
Moving on. The thing is we have a Skywalker relative. It's just not in the same way we want. That's what's so weird about it. Our Skywalker relative is Ben.
Right.
And we have his story.
Right.
But the focus of the films isn't on Ben.
Right.
Right? It's not even a shared focus. He's not even necessarily the antagonist of the movies.
No, you're right.
The first two movies, he's not the antagonist. Snoke is. And then they flip it on you. And then you're left with, who's the new antagonist? Palpatine. So he's never even given a chance. So we're not even focusing on him. He's not even a Darth Vader character. So that's my bigger thing is they broke it from the very beginning, and then we just never you can't fix it. There was chances to fix it. Snoke wasn't. Think about it. Snoke doesn't exist in The Force Awakens hardly. He's like in what, 2 scenes?
Right. And he's a giant hologram. I kept going. I hope he's.
You
huge.
have a chance.
I hope he's huge, and he's not.
Yeah, and you have a chance though.
His alien.
And then from that point,
Golden
no one
Girl.
had a single script. And Lawrence Kasdan worked on that movie.
Right.
What the hell happened?
I think Kasdan's Kasdan's not perfect. Look at his work. He's got some good stuff, but then he's also got what was it, Dreammaker, Dreamweaver, whatever.
Look, I like that movie.
Dreamcatcher.
Oh, I'm gonna fire that one right into the old catacombs. Then, oh, I love that movie.
Shit weasels.
Come on,
That movie's terrible.
it's terrifying.
Terrible.
Terrible. Just terrible.
Charles Barkley would say it, terrible. I like Mandalorian. It's not perfect. I like it. We do a show about it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Is it my favorite? No. They lucked out with me and got me on hooked on Rebels, but Rebels works because we get interesting characters in a family dynamic, which is great for kids, like Star Wars should be. And
Agreed.
And they sneak in some really interesting adult themes for me that I can enjoy. I mean, second season, they blind your main character. They blind him. Just here. And it's not like, oh, he'll be fine third season. No, he's blind now. He's the blind samurai.
And then they eventually kill his ass.
And then they kill his ass. And so it's like, and then they let you mourn. Oh, it's
yeah. No, it's good. They didn't do that in Clone Wars though.
No, we didn't do it.
Like I'm a little bummed, and we should talk about the trailer at some point.
Yeah,
I'm a
we will.
little bummed about the Clone Wars trailer that Ahsoka's back.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's the only reason I want to watch it. Right? I loved when Clone Wars ended. For me, it ended when Ahsoka walks away.
Right.
I cried. Like I felt emotion, and I had not felt hardly any emotion for Clone Wars. But that last season was so good for me.
Right.
I loved every second of it. Right. And she walks away, and then we don't get to see her again until Rebels.
Right.
And when she comes back, it is momentous.
So for me personally, well, okay, and I'll swear we'll get to the trailer in a second, but for me personally, I didn't watch Clone Wars because I didn't like the animation style. I still don't like the animation style.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
It's a little too plasticky, and it's kind of, especially early seasons. The later seasons were easier to watch, but and so I didn't watch it. I love Star Wars, and I was like, this isn't for me, and I'm cool with that. And so I'm glad there's a fan base for it and whatever. So I just knew Ahsoka by name, and after seeing the Clone Wars cartoon, the film. Hey, Sky Guy.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And I was like, when the rumor mill about her being in Rebels was strong the last half when Fulcrum was, they were talking about who's Fulcrum. And,
right.
Is it Ahsoka? And what's great about it is Ahsoka. The whole time it's Ashley Eckstein doing the voice of, and they just altered her voice so much you didn't recognize it. And people had taked it and tried to manipulate so they could get her out. They never could, which was great.
Yep.
So it's a really good reveal. And I had no connection to it, but I was like, she shows up and she looks bad. She's got 2 lightsabers, and I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of know you. And then Rebels made me fall in love with Ahsoka. I get Ahsoka love 100%, 100%, and so the new trailer hits, and so we're getting new Clone Wars episodes in February. So and the fans have been they have been on Disney's ass about this trailer for like weeks. When have we seen the trailer? The Twitter is Star Wars Twitter's.
Oh, it's nasty.
Nasty. Wow.
It is literally.
Wow.
It might be a Sarlacc's butthole.
Oh, the dark side truly lives. It's like,
oh my God!
It's like the cave, right?
It is terrible.
I feel like I've done a Jedi test after I'm done with Star Wars. I don't go to Star Wars trailer often. I just can't. I can't. But but because what I do and podcast I have, we I have hashtags that pop up, and so and people I follow that just, I got one poor friend who's in the Netherlands, and she runs an Ahsoka fan site, and every day it's all the people she's blocked. Or all the words she's blocked, so they don't harass her.
Yeah.
And I tweeted, I said, one day you'll have all the words blocked and silent, and Twitter will be silence, and that will be a great day.
Oh, I can only imagine. That is brutal.
So we finally got this trailer,
Right.
and it's full of Darth Maul goodness,
Which is great. But I know how he dies.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I know, but I mean, it's like
There's stuff in Maul's story that
Solo makes it right for me.
So there's stuff in his story that I would love to see. I would love to see his rise from taking what was the Black Sun and turning into Crimson Dawn, how he does that, and then how he loses it.
Right.
The idea of him losing, because Maul is as Filoni and Sam Whitner said this about him, but it was that he's Sisyphus. Maul is always pushing the rock up, and as soon as he gets success, it rolls back down.
Yep.
And so that's just awesome. And so I'd love to see how he loses it. I don't know.
I'm with you.
I'm not sure we're going to get it. We're going to. We saw him lose Mandalore.
Yeah.
We saw him lose Mandalore, and now he's back to get it. He's back to come for it. And
is that what you think? Is that what you believe it is?
Oh yeah, because Maul and Death Watch go back to Mandalore, and the Ahsoka novel.
Oh, interesting.
So part of this is the opening, and maybe a retelling of the opening of this Ahsoka novel.
Yeah.
So Ahsoka takes Rex, and she gets her own clone army, and led by Rex. And
so that's where they have the same face paint.
Yeah, that's new for the cartoon. That wasn't in the book.
God, that's cool as hell.
Yeah.
Man.
So that's her. That's Rex's. Her version of 501st. The last time Ahsoka sees Anakin is when he and Obi-Wan go off to rescue Palpatine.
Gotcha.
So this should have Palpatine's capture.
Yep.
And leading into Episode 3.
Yep.
Which is good. That's the main thing we're missing from Clone Wars. We're missing that bridge.
Yep.
There's a story to tell to get us to where we are in Episode 3.
Right.
And so I think that's where we're going to get. We know what happens in Episode 3. Ahsoka Nova tells us what happens to her during those events. And when the first two chapters, or the first chapter, I think, really covers Order 66 and her, because that happened.
Wow.
While she was on Mandalore.
Wow.
And then what happens? And that's why spoiler alert, because we've seen Rebels, the clones, that's where they take out their chips.
Yep.
We find out.
Well, we get that great line in the trailer. Like in this trailer, you get this line that some of us we're opposed to the war, but it's also what made us. That's an adult theme,
right?
Man.
The mixed feelings about the war.
Beautiful.
It's where we came from, and it's like, yeah. I mean, your whole existence is you're bred to fight,
right?
And now you one way or the other, this war is ending,
right?
I mean,
That's totally what it is.
And so, what do I do? I mean, that's a good question.
Oh, it's fantastic. Here's what you do. You basically go on the run from the government, and you get a space van that's black with one red stripe. And if people can find you, they can hire you, and you're called the A-Team.
For Ahsoka?
Yes, that's it.
It's a blue stripe.
Yeah, blue stripe. That's it.
Orange space fan.
Orange space fan.
A Winnebago like in Spaceballs.
Oh my God, I'd be all over that. I'd watch the hell out of that. Maybe that's what Gina did. That's what Cara Dune did.
Right.
Maybe she was A-Team.
Right.
And she just helped people. And the New Republic's like, hey, they're a criminal. And she's like, no, they're not. They're a person. I don't know. Sorry, that's a sidebar into my brain. That's how nerdy I go into Star Wars.
But the Ahsoka novel has the Ahsoka Maul fight is in there. And
right.
I listened to it, and it was read by Ashley Eckstein, which is great.
Oh, that's amazing.
I like her Maul.
Yeah.
It's very... it's her doing Maul, but I got a kick out of it. It's really interesting to hear. And we find out in that she abandons her lightsabers.
Whoa.
Yeah, she has to.
I didn't know that.
Spoiler. I don't know. Spoiler for the novel, because I don't know if this is what they're going to do in the show.
So hold on. If you want to skip, do about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
All right. So in the novel, Order 66 happens, and some clones go to take out Ahsoka, right? But they don't. She's Ahsoka. She's our hero. She's not going to die. She Yoda's a scrap, right? Or Obi-Wan's a scrap. And Rex is like, I'm ordered to kill you. I did this thing, and so they get that out of his brain. So he's like, we can't be here anymore. This changes something's different's happening,
right?
And we need to figure out what's going on. This happens all the while. Ahsoka's having this existential crisis about if she wants to be a Jedi or not. She gets hired to go after Maul. This is like they have to get Maul off Mandalore, so that it makes her private mission for her. She's not a Jedi. They just kind of outsource this to her.
That's crazy.
And so that's
so she is the A-team,
right? So she A-teams this out.
Yeah.
So Rex, I think it's Wolf and Gregor, and maybe a couple others, but they discard their armor and fake their deaths. They fake Ahsoka's deaths and they sacrifice her lightsabers as like proof of her deaths.
Oh, nice.
And so she doesn't have her two blades. So she gets new ones later in the book. She gets them from an Inquisitor who tracks her down on this planet she hides out on, and she beats the Inquisitor. She gets the ninth brother, but he looks like I think he looks like the Grand Inquisitor. I think he's the same race, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I've read it, and I wasn't planning on talking, so I don't have a note. So forgive me, just for memory. But here's the important part of the story: is that's where she gets her lightsabers from. She gets it from his lightsabers.
Nice.
And so this is where we learn this is where canon says red lightsabers come from, because technically red lightsabers are not in the wild,
right?
And so red lightsabers were supposed to be given to Sith or Inquisitors from fallen Jedi, and they use the dark side to make them bleed, and so they became red.
Interesting.
So when Ahsoka gets them back, she cleanses them and they become white.
Beautiful.
And that's why she has two white blades.
Beautiful. What a great story.
So, I don't know.
If we get that in Clone Wars, I'm all in, right?
That's canon. That's in the book, but I don't know how far that book's going to carry, because honestly, that story should end at Order 66. It really should. There shouldn't be any... Because
you're talking about this new season.
This new season.
Yeah, the new season should end at 66.
Right. We see Anakin and Obi-Wan go save the Chancellor. We take the rest of the episodes to finish off the Siege of Mandalore, and then Order 66 credits. We see Ahsoka go into hiding.
Yeah,
and then that's how she goes to become Fulcrum, which that's in the book too. But it's a good book. It's a really E.K. Johnson wrote it. E.K. Johnson wrote it. It's really fun. But yeah, so other interesting things in the trailer. I love. There's not a lot of Anakin in it, which surprised me. There's more Obi-Wan, I think, and Maul. There's a lot of Maul in it.
There's a lot of Maul.
But the great thing about the Maul thing, I think,
and Ahsoka,
right? Well, in the end, I think really this is going to be Ahsoka's story anyway. But the cool thing about Maul is all the fight scenes are done by Ray Park. They mocapped Ray Park for the fight scenes,
right? And then it's
Sam Witwer doing the voice, so it's best of both worlds.
No, that's fantastic.
But Ray Park choreographed the fights. So the fight he fights with Ahsoka, it's him fighting. I don't know who he's fighting for the other side, but he choreographed. That's not been done in animation before. They didn't. So this is something totally new. Again, ILM and Lucasfilm taking the charge,
that's breaking the ground like the Mando stuff. Yeah, absolutely
breaking the ground, which is wonderful, excellent. There's a great scene though I love of Anakin talking to Padme via hologram, and
he reaches out,
right, and she's clearly pregnant. She's starting to show.
Yep. I
would love that moment where he's like, oh, by the way, because I've not seen you in a long time. By the way, last time you were here.
Yeah. Or what if that's post? Does she die? She doesn't die during 66.
Right afterwards.
Is that what it is? It's been a while since I watched that turd.
So 66. I like Revenge of the Sith. I don't like it.
No, it's not terrible. It's just
like in turd movies, I would totally go Attack of the Clones is a turd. It's just
Attack of the Clones is a massive turd.
It's just I like. What do I like in Attack of the Clones?
Well, we all like the battle.
I like
Who doesn't like the back half of the movie's fine.
I don't like the big battle of it.
Yeah.
I do like it's funny in the arena.
Oh, I love that sequence.
Like when he shows up.
I'm good from the arena on.
Right.
I like the Camino I like the Camino scenes.
Oh yeah, I like
the arena on.
I like Jango fights Fett with Jango fights.
I like seeing Yoda bounce around like a weird toy rubber band. It doesn't bother me.
It bothers me.
Yeah.
But that whole fight sequence bothers me because...
But I hate it when I see it again in Revenge.
Right.
And then it's really bad.
Right. But it's Palpatine. He laughs the whole time.
And you get unlimited power. I mean, there's just so many bad lines in that one.
It's not great. I mean, Lucas wrote it. He's known for writing.
Oh yeah, it's Turd Burger USA. However, so she's dead. But I was just wondering what I was going to say about that shot is it'd be cool if it was right before. It's some moment like it's like if that's the last shot leading up to. Or something. It's tying it that he does that with her, and then he's gonna go slaughter a bunch of younglings or something.
But we had that moment. I mean, he saw her before he went.
True.
We had that,
but
moment.
just before all that stuff happens. I don't know. I guess before episode 3.
I still like you in 3. She says, "You. What about this about younglings?" It's like, don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Padme, man, will forgive anything.
She's blinded by love. I guess that's what they're saying.
In Act 2, man. I mean,
so what does that say about the Jedis then? If they don't believe in love, they're not Cher fans.
No, they believe in love.
They don't believe in
love.
I'm glad you got that. I didn't think anybody would.
I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide. I get a lot of things. I wouldn't be able to have that title.
I don't know if JD, would you have gotten that? Nope. Okay, there we go.
JD would have gotten it.
I know.
JD would have gotten it. Look.
He probably would have sang the lyrics.
He probably would. He knows them better than I do.
And he would have made him into Star Wars.
Right. Probably would have, because that's what, he's talented like that.
He is the Weird Al of our show.
He is the Weird Al of our show. But to go back to episode 2, Anakin, in his clumsy way, explains it to Padme on the transport on the way back to Naboo. He's like, she asks if Jedis can love because she's totally into him.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I can love. I can't love you. I can love. We can't be intimate. I love unconditionally. I like almost like in a religious aspect. Like
it is. It's like a monkdom.
I love everybody, and I enjoy. I enjoy. I love. In fact, the Jedi encouraged to love.
Yeah.
And so I just can't bang you. Basically, what it's really saying is I can't bang you. So,
right. You can't have a physical relationship. Yeah.
Which is dumb, but it's dumb in religion too. So I can't.
But that's where I'm going with it. Is it's like that you go. It doesn't matter, but. The trailer is phenomenal. If you haven't watched it, you're missing out. I don't know why you're listening to this podcast if you haven't watched the trailer, but the only other piece that I thought I caught was interesting was I love seeing there's one shot of like Obi-Wan looking older with the beard. It's not white by any means, but it did look like the animation style looked thicker than the other beards like we've seen in the other Clone Wars stuff. So I wonder if it does set us up a little bit further down the road towards because he has a pretty hefty beard in 3, right?
Yeah, he has a pretty epic beard in 3, actually.
Yeah, so it's nice because it's really taking us really close to that moment, I guess, which makes sense. But I wouldn't mind it if they gave some kind of tidbit that off screen, like why can't I have a little bit into post Order 66 world now that the Clone Wars are like with Ahsoka, but then tying in a hologram of Obi-Wan saying, "Listen, Anakin's gone rogue," and we had to hit him in the face with a T-ball bat.
So I missed it the first time I watched the trailer, but someone pointed out to me, so I went back and watched it. Did you see the Rebels cameo in the Clone Wars?
No.
Little Caleb Dune is in with Depa Billaba in the one of the breaching scene with their hologram.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Depa Billaba and her Padawan, Caleb Dune, who is Kanan Jarrus.
That is insane.
Because they get separated during Order 66,
right.
And so makes sense that he's there.
That is insane.
So I hope he has long. I don't know if he'll probably like most times they do Rebels cameos. They're in the background. They won't say anything. But
yeah, but that's epic.
It's I like again. It's Filoni. Filoni goes again. He would be there. Yeah. So draws him in. He's there. So
that's delightful.
So.
I cannot wait.
I'm excited for that.
It's a fun. That part's all fun. The fun stuff that'll be fun to watch. It's a nice little, as we said, amuse bouche to carry us over to.
I may try to do another live watch of that here at the store.
We should do that.
We should do it for season for episode 1. I got to work it out, but I think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, maybe we can do a live stream. Not showing this stuff though.
There's some artwork that came out for Colin Trevorrow's. Duel of Fates.
Oh, I didn't see that yet.
There's some art that came out from a art book that was released accidentally in Asia and posted online.
Wow.
And then they got all balled up and hidden. So Disney's saying no. There's some great stuff that follows exactly what we talked about. So I'm pretty sure that Reddit was right.
Wow.
And then there was a big complaint about maybe he killed Artoo, and he went on Twitter and went, no, I didn't kill Artoo. There's a scene where he got shot, but he didn't die.
Wow.
Yeah, so we'll post some stuff. I'll post some pictures from that too.
Yeah, we definitely need to see those.
Anything else for you?
No, I'm
I
golden.
think we're good. We'll be back next week with all new episode of My Star Wars Life. This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out to make yours.
Do I get to say may the force be with you? Or do you say that? Oh, I know what I'm supposed to say now.
May the force be with you.
I knew you were going to say that.
I've spoken.
Thank you for listening to the Mopcast Network.